Muzan's eyes followed the men, who walked away defeated. He then lifted his head from yours. Quick thinking, well done, he said with a smile. You lifted your head from his shoulder and stared at him. I just did it so they wouldn't keep us any longer, you said, averting your eyes back to the ground. My little Hashira, why do you lie? He asked, tilting your chin to look at him in the eyes. You froze. I didn't lie. That was the reason. You said quickly. He sighed a little and suddenly unimpressed. You didn't want me to kill them, didn't you? He asked. You stared at the ground. I can't let anyone else die because of me. You were cut off. With him giving a chuckle. I almost pity them. Unfortunately for you, they're going to die anyways. Muzan had spoken. Your eyes widened and at the sudden information. What? You asked. You immediately ran in the direction of the two men who had been who had made their way into an alley of unpopulated stalls and markets that were usually open during the night. The two lay dead in a pool of their own blood. You dropped to the floor, suddenly overwhelmed by everything. Your family's murderers were right in front of you, right in front of your eyes. Being held for so long, drained from all their blood, and now seeing childhood friends lay dead in an alleyway as if they're been dumped there, you fell to your knees. You couldn't even cry to mourn for the lives you've cost. Tears just ran freely as it... Sorry. Shit. I lost my spot. As you felt the sun beating on your hunched back, your body was finally aware of the impact the blood loss had been on you. You started feeling as if the world was turning at such speed you couldn't contrast on anything. You whipped your head around to see Muzan leaning against the wall. He suddenly started making his way towards you. Now, when are you finished? I would like to continue on, he spoke, his shadow getting inches away from you. You used your feet and hands to push yourself backwards for the first time. Your body was generally reacted to the fear you had of Muzan. No, stay away from me, you yelled, your voice croaked and causing your trachea to feel incredibly smaller. You shuffled back even further until you jerked your head up from a sudden warm feeling. You looked at your hand. Blood? Not yours, but the two men's. You looked at your hands for a moment, covered in dust and blood from the pool of blood behind you. You screamed, and you had never screamed like this. It was a scream of true fear and confusion? Yes. Your hands were shaking as you were now automatically crying. The shock had settled now. You practically crawled to the two men, not getting a chance to breathe through your tears. You held both of their heads and released an even louder shriek of horror when you noticed blood dripping from their eyes, mouths, and ears. They suddenly couldn't handle the amount of my blood. Muzan had spoken, his shadow now bearing over yours. You turned your head until crying and baring your teeth from anger and frustration. Your heartbeat was almost too fast for you to handle as you started hyperventilating. You couldn't breathe. Stay away, you yelled behind sobs and breaths. He looked down at you, emotionless. Who are you to order me? I thought you made it clear about your place earlier. Now get up and get over it. Their lives were meaningless. Muzan spoken.